Welcome to our world. Won't you come on in? Waiting just for you. Welcome to our world.
Well done.
Okay.
How was that?
Sounds
Sounds like, wait, what
It's our
is
new
that
theme
from?
music.
No, that's not. What is
I don't
that
know,
from?
some game show music.
You
You
know what that reminds me of?
What?
On the, what is it called? It's Tough to Be a Bug show. The song that they sing at the end. We're pollinators.
Yeah.
Pollinators.
Okay.
Anyway, welcome to Friday, everyone. Hope you're all doing swell today. Absolutely swell. So,
You can drive.
What?
You can drive. Go ahead.
What?
You can drive. I'm just in the passenger seat.
I don't get it.
I'm just along for the ride. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, so welcome to our new Friday format where we will be doing like a little mishmash of all of our little things that we do.
Cornucopia.
A cornucopia, but we need a more fun title for it. Because that's not fun. Anyway, so we are going to begin our Fridays with
A nap.
no.
Okay.
You can
Oh, no.
You can sleep when you're dead.
I'm going down.
So what we will be. What? Stop! You're ruining this for
Why
me.
when you said you can sleep when you're dead, then my chair started to lower me.
I don't know.
It-
Divine intervention. All right. We are beginning our Friday episode with This Week in History, which we
Okay.
don't yet have a jingle for, Eric. Okay. Or Dylan. This Week in History.
Okay.
Okay. We're done here.
Well, we
So,
have a jingle
this
now.
This Week in History, a few fun ones before we get to Jim and I are each going to do in depth on one. But this week had a ton of fun stuff. What? Why are you laughing?
I
You
can't
hate
go
when I say Jim.
in depth. Okay,
Oh,
go
I
ahead.
thought that's why you were doing. Well, whatever. You don't have to go in depth.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. This week in 1965, Charlie Brown Christmas premieres. We love that. 1941, the U.S. enters World War II. We don't love that. In 1690, the first paper currency was authorized in the colonies, which we hate because it got rid of the barter economy, which we loved.
No, we barter with money now.
No, that's not how that works. And in 1901, the first radio transmission was sent across the Atlantic, which reminds me we need to have an episode on how cell phones work and how radio is radio waves. We need to have an episode
In
on
general,
this
how it
because
works.
my brain cannot comprehend. So if we could explain this in layman's terms
Yeah.
for both me and any interested listeners, that would
Yeah.
be great because I
Yeah.
have no idea what's happening. And in 1799, George Washington dies. Very sad.
It is sad.
Even sadder that he died because of bloodletting still being a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, but my big thing that I want to talk about is in 2000, the Texas 7 prison break. Do you know about this?
No, I don't think I do. I don't remember.
Well, what do you think it is?
2000. I think 7 people broke out of prison.
That's correct. So what happened? What happened was on December 13th, 2000, 7 convicts break out of a maximum security prison in South Texas, setting off a massive 6-week manhunt. The escapees, dubbed the Texas 7 by the media, overpowered civilian employees and prison guards in the maintenance shop where they worked and stole clothing, guns, and a vehicle. The men left a note saying, "You haven't heard the last of us yet." Soon after escaping from the Connolly Unit lockup in Kennedy, Texas, the fugitives picked up another getaway vehicle, allegedly provided by the father of one of the men, and robbed a Radio Shack store in Pearland, Texas, making off with cash and police scanners.
Wow.
And then it goes ahead to Christmas Eve, but maybe I should wait and tell the rest on Christmas Eve since then.
No, I want to
Okay,
hear
it was
what
a
happened.
joke. It was a joke.
Because I don't remember.
I'm not going to read this whole
I
thing.
vaguely remember
They fled to
this now.
Colorado. They purchased a motorhome and told people they were Christian missionaries and spent the month at a trailer park near Woodland Park, Colorado. But on January 22nd, 2001, a tip from someone who had seen the Texas 7 profiled on the TV program America's Most Wanted led police to the fugitives. So it was useful. That's good to know.
Because I didn't remember if they caught them all or
Mm-hmm.
caught them like individually and if any were still on the loose. But they were all captured then.
No, well, ringleader
Oh, no.
George Rivas was captured along with 3 of the other men. A 5th fugitive committed suicide after being surrounded by police. And 2 days later, law enforcement officials closed in on the 2 remaining escapees at a hotel in Colorado Springs. A standoff ensued, during which the fugitives conducted phone interviews with a TV news station and claimed their escape was a protest against Texas's criminal justice system. The men then surrendered to authorities. In February, the 6 surviving members of the Texas 7 were indicted on capital murder charges in the death of Officer Hawkins. Each man was later convicted and sentenced to death. Several were later executed.
So what? So they weren't all executed yet, or maybe they weren't all convicted. Were they all?
Each man was.
sentenced to death?
They were convicted and sentenced to death, but then it just says several were later executed. It does not.
I need
not
to follow up on
specify.
this and find out what happened to the ones that were not
So that's
executed at this
mine.
point.
What is your history
Well-
this week? I hope it's more pleasant than mine.
Well, yeah, I was looking through. There were a couple things, and then I just found something. I thought, well, this is a good one.
Okay.
On this, actually, on December 12th, in 1787,
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania became the second state to ratify the U.S. Constitution.
That's super exciting.
I thought that was interesting. So now to go into detail on it, I have no more detail. That's
All right.
I
Well,
just
that's
thought it was
all that
interesting.
happened.
But this is also I have a few separate little interesting facts.
Okay.
This date in 1913, the Mona Lisa was recovered in Florence after being stolen 2 years earlier
Oh,
in August of 1911
also
from
a
the
good
Louvre.
one.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember if that was the only ones. Those. Oh no! Also, and the other thing I thought was interesting was on December 12th in the year 2000, the U.S. Supreme Court stopped the presidential election recount in Florida. So basically, they it made the 2000 election official at that point.
Right. Super exciting stuff.
So that was exciting. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Moving on to our second segment this lovely Friday. It will be
Listener feedback, yeah.
I paused there so that I could insert Dylan's rendition of listener feedback that he sent in the group chat, which I will be doing.
Okay.
By sending things to that group chat, you are giving me the permission to use them in a
Okay.
public setting. Okay, so listener feedback. This is going back to our conspiracy theories episode.
We're putting the live audience to sleep.
We are one of the menopause. For those of you that have been here since the beginning or have just listened to all of our episodes, one of the menopauses in here. We must be not putting on a great show though because he's fast asleep.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Very relaxing.
I just realized we have the same color microphone. This won't do.
Okay.
Okay. So going back to our conspiracy theories episode, someone pointed out that the moon landing conspiracy wasn't around until decades after the actual event. So at the time, people weren't like, did that actually happen? Everybody.
I did. And that's interesting and quite telling.
Yeah. Another one.
We landed on the moon. I hate to break it to anyone who
I know.
questions. We actually landed on the moon.
Well,
And seriously, that was, okay, not just obviously because it happened, but the fact that it happened in 1969, that we went to the moon in 1969.
we went to the moon in 1969, not 1968, but a year later.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
We went
Okay.
to the moon in 1969.
Okay, so anyway,
I don't even know.
no, the fact that we did that in 1969, it is one of the greatest achievements in human history.
If it
I mean,
actually happened.
No kidding. No, seriously, it's up there with like the pyramids and so anyway.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh, yeah.
No, there are some things you can agree or disagree.
Okay.
That is objectively just an amazing thing.
All right. Some more feedback this is probably from our two-party system episode. I don't remember now. One of our political episodes. Someone pointed out because this must have been our two-party system because I was talking about how the vice president was the loser of the election. A listener pointed out that the reason they maybe stopped doing the vice president as the loser was so that there was an incentive to kill the president, which I had not really considered before.
Yeah, like
that.
Yeah, like there isn't already enough incentive for some people. You know,
but it's a valid point. I don't know that that's maybe why necessarily, because it's not like people were assassinated before that. Like, you don't. Anyway, but
it's a great concept.
It's a good point.
that we all work together and you know to get things done. But anyway,
I thought you were talking about murdering the
yeah, because that's what you do. If you disagree with someone, you kill them so you can have your own way.
Exactly,
it's just the way it works.
One listener in particular was very enthusiastic or passionate, I guess you would say, about our Philadelphia sports teams episode. With some comments here. I was absolutely losing it when Saquon did the backwards huddle. The whole crowd was just going nuts. Haha, so cool. That was still a really...
Saquon?
Did I say that?
Did I
actually say that? Saquon. Well, yes, that's how you say it. Saquon Barkley.
SpongeBob?
You know what's crazy? Anyway, we don't have to talk about this. We all know it's Saquon. Anyway, look, I've been reading and writing a lot today, so my eyes...
And as of right now, by the way, and this will still be accurate as of Friday, right? He's a legit contender for the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was reading about that.
He's already broken the single season rushing record for the Eagles. And he will, I hate to jinx it, but I won't say it's likely, but there's a very, very, very good chance that he'll break 2,000 yards rushing. Come the end of the season, unless the one thing that would, I guess, keep that from happening would be if the Eagles clinched home field and everything, and there was no, like if he sat out the last game completely. But even with that, actually, depending on how he does the next few games, he still may break 2,000 yards. Continue.
Okay.
Moving on.
Don't sleep on the Flyers. Tortorella is the best coach in Philly. And they're young with a lot of potential once they get things moving in the right direction. I
have to watch some of their games. I've not watched any of their games this year.
I feel the same way about them as I did.
How about them 76ers?
Oh, good. I'm glad you brought that up. Sixers suck. This is not me. This is a listener. Sixers suck, period. Embiid is a bum at this point. PG is washed up, and I love Maxey, but he's a scorer, and that's it. He averages like 4 assists per game as a point guard. Not a good recipe for success.
Yep.
Which is a very valid
point. And that's the problem.
Yeah. I agree with most of what this
I'm almost to the point where I say trade everybody on the team, every player, trade everyone, start from scratch completely. We're not going to get anywhere as it stands now. So anyway.
I agree. Moving on to our episode about the afterlife, if it exists. A listener wrote in and said, "Good episode today. Thanks." Obviously. I'm so tired. Obviously, it's so interesting thinking about the afterlife because we'll literally never get an answer to our questions about it until we're there ourselves. I also think about how Jesus said it's easier for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. That's concerning. What constitutes a rich man?
Well,
valid point.
I looked that up because and I kind of remember because I had done this in the past too, because you hear that and it's like, it's kind of scary, right? But if you look at right after that, Jesus said basically that man can't do it by himself, but all things are possible for God. So he almost took what he said and flipped it around, right? Because that's the point. You can't, I think he was making a point, okay? And he said in the past, you have to the whole thing of leaving your mother and father and following him. And, you kind of have to make that the focus of your life. But I think the bigger point is, a camel passing through the eye of a needle, it can't happen.
It's impossible.
But God can make it happen. So it's kind of like,
yes,
you know what I mean?
That's your logic. I kind of always, as with many things in the Bible that are more parables and teaching lessons than actual, like,
Yeah.
take it at
Right.
word for word what it says. I always took stuff like that more as it's saying, because anytime they're talking about quote unquote a rich man in the Bible, he's not a good person. And he's doing something that you would not want to do.
More like a greedy person.
Right. And so it's more, I always took that more as saying, like, just the way that he is. Don't be like the rich man. And just because it's,
Right.
I guess easier once you're rich,
Right.
and it's easier not to care about the little things and maybe not to be a good person. So I guess that there's that, but I always took it as more of like, just don't act how he acts.
It's hard because you hear
Not
things like
not
this.
about actually how much money you have.
Right. And you don't want to just flip it around to make yourself feel better.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the same thing with when they talk about the tax collector,
Mhm.
right? Like, there are people that's their job. They're a tax collector. It doesn't mean they're evil. It's different in the meaning, right? The way, I guess at that time, and the way it's meant in the Bible, it doesn't mean just because someone's job is a tax
Right,
collector.
that's what I mean.
Like we would think of it today. So yeah,
Like that you shouldn't take it at face value.
Right.
And it's about the whole point of the
right.
story
You can't take everything
itself.
literally.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to my complaint about stupid national holidays. People felt very strongly about this, and a lot of people did not agree with me, actually, that national holidays are stupid. For example, this person said, I don't totally agree with the silly holidays. Yeah, maybe Big Cookie is responsible for Chocolate Chip Cookie Day, but what about the other ones, like World Kindness Day or Eat Outside Day or Siblings Day? I'm sure they all have their origins, but I like that these days exist because it gives us all a reason to break away from the boring routine of life and celebrate things we often take for granted. And in some cases, it gives us something to look forward to, as pathetic as that may sound. People, do you have a response to that?
I think it's just gotten out of hand. That's all. You can't have each day be like, well, today's, and here's
Right.
half a dozen different days,
Yes.
And I think there are some days are, I agree with that. Other days, you almost have to go back and look to the origin of each individual day. Right.
Yeah.
So some days are because of the greeting card companies, they pushed it, right? Maybe some days are because of, I don't know, so whatever, pick the social cause, whatever it is, and then, whatever.
Right.
And a lot of them are good, right? Like, whatever. Like
National Kindness Day. Who
Right.
does that?
Right.
Anyway, someone else commented and said, there's a National Raisin Bran Cereal Day. Big Bran is out of control, which I loved that one. There's a National Spicy Hermit Cookie Day. OMG, I guess they're trying to raise awareness for what the heck a spicy hermit cookie even is, which I still don't know. I didn't even actually look that up. But someone else responded and said, I think stuff like this is really cute. I'm always seeing local restaurants and bakeries doing fun specials for certain cookies, donuts, appetizers, etc., or even meal deals based on silly holidays like this. And even when I don't have interest in that thing myself, I think it's still nice that they are trying to jazz things up for their customers. I love silly fun.
Yeah. And the thing is, right, so in that case, obviously those businesses are sort of taking advantage of that. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's like, yeah, if I had like a cookie shop or some kind of a bakery, I would do that. I would say, next week we're going to celebrate, whatever day
it would be bad
right?
business not to.
And it's kind of it changes things up.
Not to capitalize on those moments.
Right, and it does change things up. I mean, in that sense, it's no different than the major holidays, right?
Mm-hmm. Someone else responded to that and said, I am more than in favor of things like National Pizza Day, National Chocolate Day, National Donut Day, and so on. I agree it's fun when restaurants and stuff do specials. I also like National Sibling Day, National Random Act of Kindness Day, etc. But spicy hermit cookies don't really need a day, haha. I mean, I don't really care either way, but I just think it's stupid. So yeah, I guess when I was, because I wasn't really thinking about it, I was thinking about it more for like that stuff, the stuff that's super specific. This was very clearly from a company that makes these. National Raisin Bran Day.
Yep.
What is that necessary?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But stuff like National Random Act of Kindness Day. I don't know which company started that or whatever, and it was obviously for a specific purpose, but it's like nice. And it probably does make the world a nicer place for a day, so that's fine. You actually responded to one and said, because you had found a calendar, a National Day calendar, and you said, do we really need a National Wiggle Your Toes Day? To which someone responded, yes, for people with poor circulation, which I really enjoyed that comment. So I just wanted to share that here.
That's like that's why they have those socks with the individual toes in the socks.
So now you all know what it's time for.
The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
I paused there. Oh, yeah, you're right. Are you changing the color on your mic?
Yes.
I paused. I will do that as well. Oh, no, I skipped red. Hold on. I have to go all the way around again. I paused there so that I could insert probably George's father as the intro to this section of our first Friday edition, which I hope Jim will agree to call The Blend. So we will now be airing some grievances. I know you have
I have a few. I have a few.
Okay.
So we'll do mine first so I don't forget.
Okay. Well, yeah.
And you know, being in Florida here, there are
a lot
a
of
decent
stupid
number
people.
there are a decent number of roundabouts or traffic circles, depending what you want to call them. It drives me crazy, and I get it, some people aren't used to them, but it drives me crazy when people come up to one and they act like it's a stop sign, right?
There's quite
no one
clearly
coming.
a yield
Yes.
sign.
There's no one coming, or there's a car maybe coming around on the other side, or there's a car coming very slowly toward the entrance into the roundabout from the left, and they stop. And it defeats the whole purpose of the roundabout. It slows
Exactly.
everyone down.
The whole
It drives me
purpose
crazy.
is so that you don't have to stop like you would at a light or a stop sign. Perfect example is the one not right outside, one down the street from the house where it used to be a stoplight. And every time when I was coming back from work, I would always, depending on the time of day, like if I was coming when it was busier, I would always get stuck like at least a mile back from a red light there. And it was awful. It was that was the stupidest light. They changed it to a traffic circle. There's rarely a backup there.
It's
even
funny.
on like busy. But when there is a backup, it's because people aren't using the traffic circle correctly.
Right.
That's
And
the point.
hopefully once people get used to, the way that they work in this country, that won't happen. This was a couple years ago. I looked up like the origin of them and the purpose and the way they're supposed to work. And when I read about it, because a lot of people, it's your typical, it's different, bad, change equals bad, just drives me nuts. I'd like to punch those people in the face on National Punch Somebody in the Face Day.
Okay.
But anyway.
That might exist, actually.
No, but the whole concept, when you stop and think about it, it's way better than a four-way stop. It's better than a traffic light, as long as if you only have, if it's where you could have a four-way stop, or you could have a regular traffic light and you only have one lane going in each direction, it just makes a lot of sense. You have fewer accidents because you don't have cars coming through at 40, 50 miles an hour like you would at a traffic light. Traffic should keep moving. They're great if you use them the right way.
I'm just going to stop you right there, because I was curious if there actually is a National Punch Someone in the Face Day. As far as widely recognized holidays go, there is no National Punch Someone in the Face Day. However, there is a National Punch Day, which falls on September 20th, which is most likely referring to the beverage punch and not a day to physically punch someone.
I'll assume that it's punching someone.
However, when I typed into Google National Punch, what the two top searches, like the autofill for this, number one, National Punch the Clock Day, whatever.
Yeah.
The second one, National Punch a Ginger Day.
There you go.
What? Oh, okay. Oh, my word. This is a whole thing. Oh, my word. This is a whole thing. It's okay. Kick a Ginger Day is what it actually is.
Okay, because I was going to ask about another one.
Is a Facebook event that was started. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm just going to read. That was started after. I need to stop reading ahead.
Yeah.
That was started after an episode of the animated show South Park that promoted the day. The episode referred to redheaded people as nasty and born with a disease. The event has received attention from parents and anti-bullying groups. In 2009, a 12-year-old boy with red hair, this is an awful way to end the week, was assaulted in Los Angeles after a Facebook message declared Friday as Kick a Ginger Day. The boy was beaten by a group of 7th and 8th graders at A.E. Wright Middle School in Calabasas.
Wow.
The boy was kicked and hit with fists in various areas of the body, but did not suffer any serious injuries.
Okay, well, he didn't say it.
This is a good note to end on, actually, though. In contrast, there is also an unofficial holiday called Kiss a Ginger Day that is celebrated on January 12th each year. Coming up, everybody find a ginger. On this day, people are encouraged to show love and affection to their red-haired friends and family members.
Kind of like first they're sour, then they're sweet.
Okay.
Is there a national kick someone in the shin day?
I refuse to look this up. Your other complaints about driving, you had a few.
Okay, so that was one. And every time I drive, I come up with,
I know.
these.
Maybe we should save
the other
some
one
of
is,
these. Oh,
No, this is my second one, and then that's it.
okay.
People who don't use their turn signals.
Sure.
Okay, it infuriates me. Okay, like let's say I'm driving behind you and you're slowing down. I have no idea why. For all I know, maybe your car stalled out. Maybe whatever. I have no idea. Okay. And then finally, let's say you make a right turn. Well, it would be nice to know that. Okay. What's even worse is if let's say I'm waiting to make a left turn and someone's coming in the other direction and they're going, I'm waiting for them to pass by so I can make the left turn.
Sure.
And they're getting slower and slower. And then I realize, oh, they're making a right turn apparently where I'm waiting to make a left turn where I could have made the left turn had I known they were going to make a right turn.
Yes.
So it's like,
did I ever tell you about the I'm sure I told. Well, because here's the thing. I always felt like if you don't use your turn signal, you're either stupid or lazy. Those are your two options.
Yeah.
And neither one of them is a great person to be, if I'm being honest. But this was like a couple years ago. I had seen a post, and this wasn't someone I knew. This was like a random person that posted that they never used turn signals because their dad told them that it was a sign of weakness to use a turn signal.
Okay, was that supposed to be a joke?
I think that it was probably meant as a joke. But I also know that people exist that, one, would tell their children that, and two, as people being told that, would believe that from their parents.
Yeah.
So that's my third thing, is that there are people driving around.
Well, so you said there's two reasons, right?
I guess that falls within.
Either stupid or, what was it?
Lazy.
Stupid or lazy. I think the third reason is or rude.
Or rude.
Or rude.
Sure.
Because you're not thinking. Because to me, when I use my turn signal, I mean, I know I'm going to be turning. I don't have
for
to.
You.
Right. It's not for me. Okay.
Yeah. No,
the point
it's
is
for
it's
you
for the other.
because just in case you forget that you're turning.
That's right. Because that does happen quite often now. As I get older, I forget.
I know. Anyway.
So yeah. So that's the other one. I just in general, and the thing is, I wish. When I was driving, okay, this is like a week and a half ago, I'm going to say.
Okay.
Right. I was driving over Caitlin's house. And I had I think there were at least 4 or 5 people that this happened where they didn't use their turn signal. And it affected me, which is, and so I was getting, it inconvenienced me. So I was getting just so frustrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, there was another point I had to make, but that's it. That's the bottom line.
Well,
it's
that's how we're going to go out today.
It's just people have to. Why do people not? Oh, I know what I was thinking. If I could have given them a ticket, if I could have stopped, if I could have stopped every one of those people and given them a citation, and let's say I get a 25% commission on each one, and I'd have to have video, I'd have to have a dash cam so I could show that they did not follow the law. The law. It's the law. Okay. Because to me, you don't need to know anything else. It's the law. You didn't follow the law.
Here's the thing, though, because if they eventually change that law to say that turn signals are optional, then the people that you do that to would just be pardoned eventually.
No, don't say it. I knew you were going there.
All right. I hope you guys have a great weekend.
No, and that's crap. You cannot do that. Here's the bottom line.
Great weekend, everyone.
If today,
make good choices.
If there's a law today that says you cannot wear a blue shirt, Okay? You can't wear a blue shirt then. Okay? Too bad. You can't wear a blue shirt. I don't care if you think blue shirts are okay. The law says you can't wear a blue shirt. This is a horrible example.
This
And
is the
people,
worst.
we will get comments on
I'm
this.
wondering how many people are wearing a blue shirt right now as you're talking.
The point is, we either follow the law or we have total anarchy.
Oh, okay. Well, use your turn signals this
Okay.
weekend, everyone.
Yes. Otherwise, we've fallen into total anarchy.
So that Jim doesn't make a citizen's arrest on you.
Yeah. I may even go a step beyond that.
What does that even mean?
Swift justice. I may not just arrest, I may punish them.
All right. Please stop talking. We don't have enough money yet to be sued.
Oh, yeah. I have to get my umbrella insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, goodbye.
So this says,
I love
a
this.
few of these diseases are non-existent in the current times, but there are a few that still haunt the populace of this planet.
Wait.
What?
So non-existent in the current time. So these are diseases of the past that they don't know where they came.
Did you
Just start.
Did you
Go
not
ahead.
listen to the whole sentence?
Read it again.
Hold on, let me change my microphone color. This is now an airing of grievances.
No, I thought I listened.
A
You said.
few of these diseases are non-existent
Well,
in the current times.
I heard that. That's why I'm.
And
that's
then
why
you
I'm.
zoned out.
No, I
There
didn't.
was another half of the sentence. What was the rest of the sentence?
I don't remember, but
Okay,
it wasn't.
great.
It didn't say. Go
But
ahead.
there are a few that still haunt the populace of this planet.
That's what I heard. I heard what you said.
What are you asking me then?
Originally, when it said about these 8 diseases, I thought these were all current diseases that
It's
you
saying
could get.
even science can't explain these 8 weird diseases.
But it
You are
sounds like
ruining
most
this
of
because
them.
I'm losing all credibility right now.
It sounds like most of them aren't around anymore.
I haven't even read
Okay, go
any
ahead.
of them.
Go ahead, start. I want to hear them. 'cause
Everybody
it's
stopped
start-
listening because they're like, she doesn't know what
Well,
she's
you can
talking
cut this
about.
out. You can cut this out. Go ahead.